Good morning, children. Stay safely at home. So, I am starting the next topic of this chapter, that is some practical application of Newton's second law of motion. Okay, so we are I am trying to discuss first the very simple one. Okay, so what you have done, that you have taken a body and it is just kept on a horizontal plane. Okay, now you see, when you are keeping on the horizontal plane, then you can create motion on the body by two means, either by pulling it. So when you are pulling, then you see force F is applied in this direction, and you can create a motion by pushing it. So when you are pushing, you are applying the force in this direction. Then what are the other forces acting on the body? First is weight of the body acting in the downward direction, and as it is kept on the horizontal surface, so normal reaction, it is acting in the vertically upward direction. Same in this case also, weight is acting down and the normal reaction is acting in the upward direction. Now you see, under the action of the force, the body will have some acceleration. So according to Newton's second law of motion, you can write force is equal to mass into acceleration. Alright, this is one equation you will get. Another one, you see, the body do not have any kind of motion perpendicular to this horizontal direction, isn't it? So you can say that R and mg, they are balancing each other. So R will be equal to mg. Is that clear? So in this case, these are the two equations one can get while considering the forces acting on the body and also by applying Newton's second law of motion. Then you see, second option is F is applied inclined to the body. Means you are just doing this. Consider this case first, that this is the force, this is the body, and again the weight of the body is acting in the downward direction, R is acting in the upward direction. Now suppose this is the horizontal direction and force is applied along this direction, making an angle theta with the horizontal direction. Then you see, you can do this, you can break the force into two components. One is F cos theta along the horizontal direction. Another, you see, will be F sin theta along the vertical direction. Alright. So, in this case, what you can write, F cos theta is responsible to produce the acceleration. So, you can write F cos theta is equal to mass into acceleration. Now, in this case, no longer R is balanced by mg, but R plus F sin theta. You see, what is the total upward force in this direction, vertically upward direction? R plus F sin theta. And what is the vertically downward force? mg. So these two forces are balancing each other. So this will be the second equation and this will be the first equation. Alright. So in this case, you are pulling the body, but F is applied inclined to the body. F is not applied horizontally. Okay, I hope you have understood the difference between the two cases. Then instead of pulling the body, if you push a body by applying a force, then you see how you can break it into component. So if you consider the weight of the body is acting vertically downward direction, normal reaction is acting in this direction. So suppose you are considering that you have applied the force, this is the force you have applied along this direction. Alright. So you see, if you break it into component, this angle is theta. Then this component, this direction, it will be F cos theta. Alright, just understand it. I am just showing it in the by drawing the diagram in different manner. So you see, this is F. So if you extend it, you may consider this is F. Then if this angle is theta, this is also theta. So horizontal component is coming F cos theta, but you see vertical component, it will be in the downward direction F sin theta. This diagram you don't have to draw. This is for your explanation only. But in this case, you see f sin theta was in the upward direction. But in this case, when you are pushing the body, then f sin theta coming in the downward direction. So you can show the force this way, that f sin theta is in the downward direction and f cos theta in this direction. Alright. So in the second case, means this is for pulling, and if you consider for pushing, what you can write? Again you can write f cos theta is equal to m into a, alright. But remember that r minus f sin theta is equal to mg. This will be the second equation. Why r minus f sin theta have taken? Because if you consider these two forces, what is the resultant? R minus f sin theta. Okay, that is acting in the upward direction. And what is the downward force? Mg. So r minus f sin theta will be mg, and in this case r and f sin theta in the same direction. So what will be there? Resultant, it will be r plus f sin theta. So r plus f sin theta is equal to mg. Now here there is a request, kindly do not try to mug up the equations I am writing. Alright, you understand from the diagram and then you write down, you practice it in a separate rough notebook, that how you can form the equation. One equation you are getting just by applying Newton's second law of motion, that is the force, resultant force is equal to mass into acceleration created. Another one, if you consider the vertical force acting vertically, total vertically upward force should be equal to total vertically downward force. You just balance them, you will get the second equation. So this is the way one can get two equations, and then depending on the information given, you can solve it out. Next one is, you have placed a body on an inclined plane. Alright, then you see the weight mg, it is acting and angle of inclination is alpha. Then you see weight mg is acting vertically downward direction. Now if this angle is alpha, if you draw perpendicular to the inclined plane, this angle will be also be alpha. So you can break mg into two components, mg cos alpha vertically downward on the inclined plane, and another is mg sin alpha, which is acting along the inclined plane in the downward direction. And I hope you have understood how I have broken it into the component. Inclined plane already in 10th standard you have studied, and normal reaction, it will act perpendicular to this surface. So I have drawn it perpendicular to this surface. So you see in this case mg sin alpha, it is acting in the downward direction, which will create acceleration or motion in the body. So you can say that mg sin alpha is the net force acting in the downward direction, which is producing acceleration. So according to Newton's second law of motion, you can write mg sin alpha is equal to ma, and r is balanced by mg cos alpha. R is balanced by mg cos alpha. Is that clear? So in this case, you have not applied any force. Due to one component of its own weight, the body will slide down, and what will be the acceleration? Acceleration is given by, you see from equation 1, what you can write, what will be the acceleration of the body? Mm you can cancel, so acceleration will be equal to g sin alpha. Is that clear? Now second case, a force F applied, F is applied. Alright. Now in this case also you may have two cases. So let me first draw the diagram. If F is applied, then how you have to draw the diagram? Again you consider the inclined plane. Let us consider that angle of inclination, let it be alpha. Now you have kept the body here, and then this is the center of gravity. So mg is acting in the downward direction. So this is mg. you can break it into two components. So you draw the perpendicular. Then from this one you take the component. So this is mg cos alpha and this angle is alpha. So you see from this one, if you draw, this is mg sin alpha acting in this direction, then normal reaction is acting up, and suppose you have applied the force in this direction. You have applied a force F in this direction. Then you see what is happening, what is the resultant downward force. It is F minus mg sin alpha. Is that clear? So if you consider that acceleration of the body is in the upward direction, means I am considering F is bigger than mg sin alpha. So you see, that's why I have given the arrow. Acceleration is in the upward direction. So what is the resultant force acting in the upward direction? F is in this direction, mg sin alpha opposite direction. So the resultant upward force is F minus mg sin alpha is equal to ma. Is that clear? So you see, what is the acceleration? Acceleration if F minus mg sin alpha by m. Okay, and what is happening in this case also, again the normal reaction mg is balanced by mg cos alpha. So you must remember what is the expression for acceleration. Alright, but in case of solving the numericals, you just apply the concept, then you don't have to mug up all these formulae, just you need the concept to do it. So you see, when you are applying the force F in the upward direction, what is the acceleration you are getting? F minus mg sin alpha by m. Okay, and another equation you are getting, that R is equal to mg cos alpha. Now in this case, if you consider that F is less than mg sin alpha. Alright, if F is less than mg sin alpha, then you see what will happen, what is the net force? It will be mg sin alpha minus F. Alright, and if F is less than mg sin alpha, then you see the body cannot slide up. What will happen? The body will slide down with an acceleration a dash, and you can write mg sin alpha minus F equal to m a dash. And what will be a dash? A dash is mg sin alpha minus F by m. Alright. Now this is when F is less than mg sin alpha. Now I hope you can remember, I have rubbed it, so that's why I am writing it again. If F is greater than mg sin alpha, then what was acceleration? We have got, it was F minus mg sin alpha divided by m. Alright. Now look at the expression for A and A dash. That both magnitude of A and A dash are same, but A and A dash are oppositely directed. When F is bigger, A will be in the upward direction, and when mg sin alpha is bigger, then A dash will be in the downward direction. So you can write A and A dash, they are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. That's why I have given the vector sign and negative sign I have written. Why? Negative sign indicates they are oppositely directed, and as there is an equal sign, it indicates that their magnitudes are equal. Alright. Then the second case. This is the first case and this is the second case. In this case you see F is applied in the downward direction. So what will be the acceleration in this case? As F is downward, mg sin alpha also downward. So what will happen? Acceleration should also be in the downward direction. And what is the resultant force in the downward direction? You see F plus mg sin alpha is equal to m into A. So A is how much? F plus mg sin alpha by m. Is that clear? And in this case also you can write R is equal to mg cos alpha. R is equal to mg cos alpha, common for all the cases. Alright. So this is the way what you have to understand. You have to understand in specific direction what are the forces acting. Alright. And then you have to find out what is the net force acting acting along the direction of motion of the body, and that's why there is no need to mug up all the. Now the next topic is the free body diagram. So as I told you that for free body diagram means what? Just you consider by one example I am explaining what is the meaning of free body diagram. Suppose you have taken two bodies are in contact, M1 and M2, and you have applied a force F on it. So you see, you have applied the force F on the two bodies together, alright. But in this case, you may consider that M1 is the one body and you may consider that M2 is a separate body, and then you are considering what are the forces, different forces acting on M1, M2 separately, and then balancing the forces and getting the equations. Okay, that is known as the free body diagram. So in this case, you see what will happen when you are applying the force F on it, then M1 will push M2 in this direction. Is that clear? So you see, what is the force acting on M2? On M2 only F is acting. But if you consider M1, if M1 apply a contact force F in this direction on M2, M2 in turn will apply equal and opposite force on M1. So you see, on M1, what are the forces acting? F is acting in this direction and F1 is acting in this direction. And if you consider the weight M1G, it is acting in the downward direction, and the normal reaction, let it be R1, acting in the upward direction. And in this case, M2G is acting in the downward direction and R2 acting in the upward direction. Alright. So you see, for M1, if you consider, so this is the free body diagram of for M1, and this is the free body diagram for M2. Actually, the two bodies are in contact, but you see, we have drawn them separately. So these separate diagrams for each body showing all the forces acting on it is known as the free body diagram. So what are you getting? You see, F minus F is equal to M1A, and you can write R1 equal to M1G. So if you consider, this is equation 1, sorry, it is M1G, this is equation 1. Now for M2, you see only F is acting, alright. And another thing you should remember, that when you are considering a system, then different parts of the system should have the same acceleration. So if you consider the acceleration A is along the direction of the force applied, then you see, for M2, F is the force producing the acceleration. So you can write F is equal to M2A. Is that clear? This is equation 2. So if you add equation 1 and 2, then what are you getting? You see, minus F plus F will get cancelled. So you will have F on the left hand side, and on the right hand side you are getting M1 plus M2A. So you can write it, F is equal to M1 plus M2 into A. So what is the acceleration? Acceleration, you can write F by M1 plus M2. This is equation number 3. Another point you are getting, what is the contact force? M2 into A. So M2 into A means, what you can write? A is how much? F divided by M1 plus M2. So you can write, it will be M2F divided by M1 plus M2. This will be the contact force. Alright. Now if you do this, means instead of applying the force on M1, if you apply the force on M2, then what will happen? That we have to do. Now you see, instead of applying the force F on M1, you have applied the force on M2. Then you see what will be the free body diagram for M1. Now only the contact force acting in this direction, and for M2 contact force F is in this direction, applied force F is in this direction. So you see, now for M1, what you can write, that if you consider that acceleration A is in this direction of the system, you can write F is equal to M1 into A. This is the first equation, and R1, this is R1, this is R2. Again R1 is equal to M1G. Now for M2, what are the equations you are getting? You see, F is in this direction, F, small f in the opposite direction. So resultant is F minus F is equal to M2 into A, and R2 is equal to M2G. So if this is equation 2, then if you add equation 1 and 2, means adding equation 1 and 2, what are you getting? F is equal to again M1 plus M2 into A. So you are getting A is equal to F by M1 plus M2, means same as the previous case when force is applied on M1. Now what is F here? Now here F is how much? F is equal to M1 into A. So you are getting M1F divided by M1 plus M2. Is that clear? So only the expression for contact force, it is changing. When you are applying the force on M1, then contact force was M2F by M1 plus M2. When you are applying the force on M2, then what is the contact force? M1F divided by M1 plus M2. So once again I am telling, understand the free body diagram. Don't have to learn and remember the expression for the different forces. Now the next case is two bodies M1 and M2, they are connected by a string. Alright. Now suppose you have applied a force F in this direction. Then you see, when you are applying the force F in this direction, then a tension will act along the string. Alright. For M1, understand it, for M1 tension of the string is in this direction. But for M2, tension in the string will act in the opposite direction. So once again, if you draw the free body diagram for M1 and M2, then what will happen? You see, for M1, again the normal reaction R1 is acting in the upward direction, M1G is acting in the downward direction, tension T is acting in this direction. So you see, for M1, from the free body diagram, one can write R1 is M1G, and you can write tension is equal to M1 into acceleration, because tension is the force which is creating acceleration in M1. So suppose this is equation 1. Now if I draw the free body diagram for M2, what it will be? Just see. F is acting in this direction. For M2, tension in the string is in this opposite direction. And once again here R2, normal reaction, acting in the upward direction. M2G acting in the downward direction. Alright. This is the ground. And we are considering ground is smooth. Means there is no frictional force. So you can write for M2, F minus T is equal to M2A. Is that clear? And R2 is equal to M2G. So if you consider this as equation 2, then you see, if you add equation 1 and 2, what will happen? This is T, this is minus T, will get cancelled. So you will have F. So F is equal to M1A plus M2A. So you can write A is equal to F by M1 plus M2. This is one equation. This is the equation number 3. And what is the tension in the string? Tension in the string is M1A. So you can write it as M1F by M1 plus M2. This is the tension in the string. Alright, so when the two bodies are connected with a string, then this is the way, with the help of the free body diagram, you can find out what will be the acceleration and tension. And in this case, you see, instead of applying force F on M2, if you just do the opposite, that force F is applied on M1, then you know what will happen. Just I am drawing the diagram here. It is M2, so tension T in this direction. In this case, what will happen? Acceleration, again it will remain the same. It will be F by M1 plus M2. But what will be the tension in the string? Tension in the string will be M2A. Means it will be M2F divided by M1 plus M2. So this is the case when force is applied on M1, and this is the case when force F is applied on M2. Alright, once again I am telling that understand how I am drawing the free body diagram and how the forces are balanced, but never try to remember all the equations for or expressions for acceleration, tension or contact force. Now the next example is that two bodies A and B having masses M1 and M2 connected by a string suspended from a pulley. Alright. Now in this case you see from the diagram it is clear that M2 is bigger than M1. So this side weight is more. So what will happen? That the body will have this one, the body will move down as a whole. The system will come down in this direction. Alright, so if you consider the acceleration for M2 is in the downward direction. Alright, but what will happen to M1? M1 will move up with the same acceleration. Remember that it can never happen that the two parts of the same system have different acceleration. So the system will have only one acceleration. So different parts of the system should have the same acceleration. This is the first concept. Second concept, you see the two bodies are connected by the same string, and in a string in different part same amount of tension acts. So you see if I consider for A tension T is acting in the upward direction, but for B tension T also acting in the upward direction. So in this part T is in the upward and in this part also T is in the upward, but I have considered same T. Why same T? Because it is the different parts of the same string. So if you draw now the free body diagram for A, you see this is the mass. So you see for A, what are the forces acting? M1G acting in the downward direction, tension T is acting in the upward direction, and the body is having acceleration A in the upward direction. So you see what you can write, acceleration A upward. So T is bigger than M1G. So you can write T minus M1G is equal to M1A. Is that clear? This is for A. Alright, if I draw the free body diagram. Now, come to M2. For M2, what is happening? Understand it. M2G in the downward direction. T is in the upward direction, but the body is moving down with an acceleration in the downward direction. What does it mean? M2G is bigger than T. So what is the resultant downward force creating the acceleration? It will be M2G minus T. Understand it here. As the body is moving in the upward direction, T bigger than M1G. So net force T minus M1G. According to Newton's second law, it should be equal to mass into acceleration. In this case, the body is moving in the downward direction. It means M2G bigger than T. So what is the resultant? M2G minus T, which should be equal to, according to Newton's second law, mass into acceleration, means mass of M2 into A. So if you consider these two equations, now I am writing the two equations, one below the other. And then what are you getting? You see, it is M2G minus T is equal to M2A. So if you add them, then what will happen? T and minus T will cancel and you will get M2G minus M1G is equal to M1A plus M2A. So you see what is A coming? If you take G common, M2 minus M1 and divided by M1 plus M2. Alright, this is the expression for the acceleration. Is that clear? So, if you consider this as equation 1, this as equation 2, this one as equation 3. Now, you consider from equation 1, again here I am writing, from equation 1, what you can write? T is equal to M1G plus M1A. Alright, now you substitute A. Sorry, it is T. Substitute A. A is how much? G into M2 minus M1 divided by M1 plus M2. Now you simplify it. So down it is M1 plus M2. Then you see what it is coming? M1 squared G plus M1 M2 G, and then it is coming plus M1 M2 G, then minus m1 square g. So this m1 square g, m1 square g will get cancelled. So what are you getting? You are getting m1 m2 g plus m1 m2 g means 2 m1 m2 g divided by m1 plus m2. So this is the expression for the tension in the string. So I am writing it separately. What is the tension in the string you have got? 2 m1 m2g divided by m1 plus m2 is the tension acting on the string. Alright, so when you are suspending the two bodies by a common string, then these are the expression for tension in the string and expression for the acceleration. Now in this case also two bodies we have taken A and B, masses m1 and m2 as shown in the diagram. But in this case you see they are also passing through a pulley, but in this case one is suspended, another is on the horizontal plane. Okay, so if you draw the, so you see what are the forces, possible forces acting for B. m1g is in the downward direction, tension is in the upward direction. For A, tension is in this direction, and due to the weight of m1 as it is coming down, so for m1 acceleration in this direction, for m2 acceleration in this direction. So if you draw the free body diagram, for A, you see, just see, T is acting in this direction, tension in the string, acceleration in this direction, alright. And if you consider the weight of the body is m2g acting in this direction, R2 is the normal reaction, then you see you can write T is equal to m2a. Alright, tension is equal to how much? m2 into a. For this one, this is first equation, and R2 is m2g. R2 equal to m2g, we do not need in this case. Now, the free body diagram for m1. For m1 you see it is suspended, so m1g is in the downward direction, tension is in the upward direction, and the body is moving with an acceleration acceleration A in the downward direction. So what you can write, as acceleration is in the downward direction, m1g is bigger than t. So what is the net force? m1g minus t. Now according to Newton's second law, m1g minus t should be equal to m1 into a. Alright, now this is equation number 2. So if you add 1 and 2, what are you getting? You see here it is minus t, here it is plus t. So that will get cancelled. So you can write m1g is equal to m1a plus m2a. So what is the acceleration coming? Acceleration is m1g by m1 plus m2. Okay, this is the expression for acceleration. Therefore, what will be the tension? Tension is m2 into a, means you can write it as m1 m2g divided by m1 plus m2. This will be the tension acting in the string. Alright, so this is the way with the help of a free body diagram one can get the expression for acceleration as well as tension acting in the string. Next concept is concept of concurrent forces. Alright, concurrent forces means the several forces are acting on a body in such a way that their point of action, okay, that is the same point. Means if you consider, suppose there is a body here, alright, and let us consider that several forces acting in such a manner. Suppose F1 is acting in this direction, F2 is acting in this direction, but you see the point of application is same, that is meeting at one point. Okay, and suppose F3 is acting in this direction and F4 is acting in this direction. Alright. So, F1, F2, F3, F4, if you consider all of them, their point of action, point of application is same. Alright, so these F1, F2, F3, F4, they are known as the concurrent forces. Alright, so when concurrent forces comes, then how to find out the resultant of all these forces? Then what we do? Then we apply the concept of component of forces. Means what we do? We just break the forces, means you just consider the coordinate system x and y. So this is y dash and this is y, and let us consider F1 is making an angle alpha 1 with x axis, F2 making an angle alpha 2 with x axis as shown in the diagram, F3 making an angle alpha 3 with x axis as shown in the diagram, F4 making an angle alpha 4 with the x axis as shown in the diagram. Alright, now you want to find out the resultant. Then you know that if you apply the parallelogram law or the triangle law, then two forces you have to add, F1, F2 you will add, and then again you will find out the resultant. Again you have to find the resultant of F1, F2 and F3. Means it is a very complicated process. So how you can make it easy? That you just along the common point of application draw x and y axis and then break all the forces into its x component and y component. So how you can break it? Just I am showing you. You see, from F1 drop a perpendicular, so it will be F1x, then drop a perpendicular on y, so this is F1y, okay. Now, from F2 drop a perpendicular on y, so this is F2y, then from F2 drop a perpendicular on x-axis, so this is F2x. Now come to F3, drop a perpendicular on y-axis, so this is F3y. Drop a perpendicular on x-axis, so this is F3x. Come F4, drop a perpendicular on x-axis, this is F4x. Drop a perpendicular on y-axis, this is F4y. Alright, now you see what will be F1x? F1x will be F1 cos alpha. What will be F1y? It will be F1 sin alpha. Is that clear? That is the way you can write it down. Then like that, what will be F2x? F2x, you just see. F2x will be F2 cos, here alpha 1, sorry, alpha 2. Then what will be F2y? F2 sin alpha 2. Now, exactly in the same manner you can do for F3 and F4. Now, once you have broken all the forces into x and y component, then you see what are you getting. I am drawing it separately. If I consider the y component, then you see you are getting here, this is F1y, then this is F2y, then you see F3y is in the downward direction, F4y is in the downward direction. Alright, so you see what will be the resultant force along y-axis? It will be F1y plus F2y minus F3y minus F4y. Got it? So you see, this is the way you can, sorry I have not written it properly. Why I have made it big? Means with proper subscript girls you have to write. That is the mistake I have done. That it will be F1y it will be F1y plus F2y minus F3y minus F4y. Why are the subscript? Okay, so this is Ry. Now, consider the x component forces. Let us draw it. You see in this direction, this is F4x and F1x acting. And in this direction, two forces are acting, F2x and F3x. So what will be Rx? Rx will be F1x plus F4x minus F2x minus F3x. Alright, Ry and Rx you are getting. Now, after that what are you getting? After getting the values of Ry and Rx, again if I draw the diagram, so Rx is in this direction and Ry is in this direction. So you see what will be the resultant? Resultant R will be equal to under root Rx square plus Ry square. And if you consider this angle is theta, then you see tan theta is equal to Ry by Rx. So simply you break all the forces, concurrent forces into its component, then add or subtract all the y components as per the situation and apply the same and find out Ry, and for Rx also add and subtract the forces, x component of all the forces, get Rx. Then Ry and Rx, they are acting perpendicular to each other. So what will be the resultant? Under root Rx square plus Ry square. And if you consider theta with angle made by R with the x-axis, then what will be the direction of the resultant? You can get it by tan theta. Tan theta will be Ry by Rx. Alright. Now if you consider that concurrent forces are acting in such a way the body is in equilibrium. So we are considering concurrent forces in equilibrium. The forces are not equilibrium, body is in equilibrium. Means what? The resultant force acting on the body is 0. So the body, if it was at rest, it will be at rest, or if it is in uniform motion, it will be in uniform motion. So you see, suppose we are considering that F1 is acting in this direction and F2 is acting in this direction, F3 is acting in this direction. Alright. Now F1, F2, F3 are acting in such a manner that the resultant of all these forces means F1 plus F2 plus F3 is equal to 0. What does it mean? You see, F1 plus F2 is equal to minus F3. Means if you consider the resultant of F1 and F2 means, suppose just a minute. So you see here you are getting F1 plus F2 is minus F3, means the resultant of F1 and F2. Look at the diagram. How I can get the resultant? F1 and F2, that you just complete the rectangle or parallelogram what it is coming and draw the diagonal. So R is the resultant of F1 and F2. Look at R and F3, they are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction, means R is equal to minus F3. Okay, resultant of F1 and F2 is equal in magnitude to F3 and opposite in direction. This is the one way you can get the explanation. Another way, if you apply the triangle law, F1 plus F2 plus F3 equal to 0, it means that you can consider that if this is the, means when the three sides of a triangle represent the three forces taken in magnitude and direction taken in the same order, then the resultant of all the forces will be 0. Means what? If you consider this is F1 and this is F2, then you see what will be F3. F3 will be this one. Means just you apply the triangle law. According to triangle law, what you can write? I hope you can remember. AB plus BC is equal to AC. Can you remember? The two sides taken in the same order equal to the third side taken in the opposite order. So AB plus BC is equal to AC. This is the triangle law. Now you can write it then AB plus BC, you see, minus AC equal to 0. Now minus AC means what? Minus AC means nothing but CA equal to 0. Alright, means if the three forces represent three sides of a triangle in magnitude and direction taken in the same order, then the body will be in equilibrium. So in this case you can write, you see, F1 plus F2 is plus F3 equal to 0. Or you can write this way, F1 plus F2 is equal to minus F3, because F3 is CA and F1 plus F2 is equal to AC. So you have to write minus F3 means what? F1 plus F2 plus F3 equal to 0. Alright, so what is the simple meaning? That the body will be in equilibrium, that if you consider the vector sum of all the forces, that will be 0. If there are 4 forces, then also it will be F1 plus F2 plus F3 plus F4 equal to 0. Alright, so that's all about this chapter. Thank you, girls.